Right, 9 o'clock on Sunday evening. This is the Westerly Centaur, 26 feet, 8.5 foot beam. So this one is around 1978. I'll take you on a tour around the hull to begin with. The rubbing strake has been teaked, and that one's pretty good to go. You can see the marks where the surveyor has been on the hull there. They've been repainted over with the anti-foul. Right at the nose here, behind the anchor, look, there's a small crack just in here, which is mentioned on the survey, which, as you can see, the forestay tension is on here, and the crack's over here, so it's not going to cause any immediate problem, or even long term, but just good to know. Down the bow here, it's all pretty good. I'm going to try and be critical in this video because I would like to be, because someone who's buying the boat might be. And there's a small ding there. It's been filled in, but not too well. So at some point, might be advisable. Right underneath, I'll get under there in a second. I'll take you round to the keels. Keel seal was redone over the winter. It's been in the water since, that's why there's all mud on it, but it was when it was launched a couple of months ago. Two-blade prop. And it's all been freshly anti-fouled with 3 coats this season. I don't know how much you can see under there. As you see, this one is the speed log, and that one is the forward-facing sonar. Again, can't really see it so well under here. I've got a torch. See the anode up there? Right, brand new anode. That's the cockpit drain on one side, that's the cockpit drain on the other side. Can't remember what that one is right now. That was the old speed log. It's been closed up. And the seal on the keel, all been redone on both sides. Yep. That one is the old sounder, which still has the cables to it and can be connected up if you don't like the forward focusing sonar, so that's still ready for use. These are for the heads. Right, on the outside of the hull, the rubbing strake has been teak oiled. Had a couple of coats, so that's good for probably a few years. This little strip here has become a bit flaky. Could do with being replaced, but only if you're into the cosmetics to a great deal. This was an outlet for a gas heater which previous owner installed. I've since put a stainless panel over it and it's flexed and it's all sealed in. No water's getting through that. I put up the dodgers. They're not very secured up at the moment, but just put them up so you can see. I'll go up on deck in a minute and show you that. At the back on the transom, transom's in pretty good condition. It's standard. This is outboard bracket and got an outboard storage bracket up there. This one drops down lift it out there and loosen that. It'll drop into the water. Got a boarding ladder, it folds up. There's not enough room here at the moment, the wall's in the way. But yeah, storage bracket. The outlet. And down this side, the hull's covered in loads of scuffs and things, so it would be a good idea to get it polished up if you want it to look pretty. Yeah, just loads of scuffs. It's a 35-year-old boat. It's not going to be perfect. Right, I mentioned about that, scratches on the front, and then a little ding there that could be refilled. Right, the other dodger. Right, going to get up on board. Right, cockpit. Gantry, start at the back. Yeah, the storage bracket for the outboard if you have one and want one. A stainless gantry up on here, it's installed by a previous owner with a GPS antenna that runs inside the cable. Boom cover. I'll do a second video where I'll take everything off and show you inside everything. Like inside, I'll take the covers off so that you can see in the bilge as well and see the engine in better detail. But first video, I'll just skirt over everything. Yeah, standard. I think that's 10mm rope for the boom. The runner along the back. A couple of fenders out here. Engine control panel. You stick your fingers in there, or permanently have some pliers that live out here. They get rusty, but they still work. And you can turn the keys with that. And then when you want to turn it off, just stick your finger in there, hit the off button, hold it in, and it'll turn off. The engine's pretty sound, pretty reliable. It was done about 80 hours when I bought it, which was last April. Since then I've done probably another 20 hours on her, and it's done me very well. So on my advert I put in it took me 10 hours to get from Falmouth back to Millbrook, and I only used 11 litres. There's the instruments. Everything's been fitted, but it has no power to it yet. I haven't put the power cables through. Again, if only days were longer. Here's standard washboards, a hefty lock on it. Yeah, I'll show you everything, make sure. The benches, they've been oiled. That is a outside speaker for the radio. It's not connected, it was on the old radio, and I'm not sure if it works at all. Half locker. This one has the gas for the cooker in it. Mind the boom, tiller. It's just a dark locker. I'll get the torch out again. On you go. Right. Still can't really see much. There's some bits and pieces in here. Nothing fantastic. There's the bilge pump there. Just about see it. All sorts of bits and pieces. And there's the gassy. There's two in here. One was from the heater that the previous owner installed, which I ripped out because it doesn't work. There's a, you just about see it, that pump there. You twist that handle and it pumps grease onto the prop shaft. Keeps it in check if you do that every couple of hours while you're motoring. Then that will keep it nice and lubricated. Yeah, stick your bilge rod in there, pump that, does your bilge. Yeah, I think it did benches. There's a sign there that says disarm the alarm, but it doesn't have an alarm, but that's just to put off anyone who might be coming that way. There was a hole here. There was a shore power socket here, but I've removed that and since made it movable. It's inside, which I shall show you shortly. Spray hood, it's filthy. Could do with a wash and a scrub. Apart from that, it's fine. Oh, no, it's not. There's a hole here, a rip, which could do with being sealed up, sewn up. But it's also an emergency foothold with a grip if you're racing along here. The what do you call them? The winches covered in a half fender. Very quaint. They still work. Everything works fine. This side. Yeah, that's good. Covered in a half fender. Dodgers not completely attached, but that's the effect. It also has a cockpit cover which goes from about the spray hood all the way over to just behind the gantry there. I've never had it up, but it's stashed away inside, which I shall get it in a minute. Let's see the rest of the outside. The hatch cover could do with some repainting up there. It's flaking off. There's patches here that could probably do with it, and down there. So everything on the front half of the boat is starting to flake off. This is an attachment for the, I think it's a Cobra navigation, and there's a I think that's the GPS aerial. Sorry, I think this one's the GPS aerial, and this one is for the Cobra chart plotter, which attaches onto that. I think I've never used it. On this side, right on the walkways, you see they're right, it's still grippy. It's just the stuff behind the spray hood that's all flaking off. Got yourself a boat hook there, extendable. Better view of the coach roof. Boom cover, spray hood, dirty. Oh, it's up to the mast. There is a LED all-round white nav light on top, which is not connected. The cable runs all the way through and to the bottom of the mast. There's two cables there, one for the radio, one for the light, which I haven't put through. They need to go through this one here. Just drill two holes, here and here. The holes are already in the coach roof. I just need to draw them up from underneath, which I can do that before anyone picks it up. I'll open that in a minute. All the halyards and sheets and things are brand new polyprop 10mm. Sanded that's pretty solid. That's quite solid as well. Stanchion posts, again, rock solid. I've pulled myself off on those before. That's the water tank inlet. Goes through inside, and the tank is in the forepeak underneath the bed, which I will show you that possibly in the second video. Windows are all flaky, they need repainting. Just a bit of a mess. Mushroom vents. I was going to put a window in that, but again, not enough time. The days were longer. Right at the front. Yeah, I've got about 30 metres of this chain. What's that, about 8mm? Yeah. This is the sheets for the Genoa anchor. This is the Danforth anchor. Also got a CQR replica if you wish to have that as well. I would pull this out, but well, I might pull it out on the second video if I get time. It's pretty good. It's a aftermarket one. There's the documentation for it in the blue box in the forepeak. Yes, the from the mast there's, if you run down this way, there's some rollers there that would run along into the back of the spray hood here. There's some holes that would go through, and then on the other side you see these little clamps. So I assume they are for single-handed sailing. I've never used them, and no one I've spoken to has told me affirmatively what they are. That one's solid. That one's pretty solid. Solid. Right, let's take this off. Show you what we got. Mainsail, a few marks on it there. Boom bang, that one works nicely. It's a roller furler. You can see here. See that? It rolls around, and then the sail just gets pulled underneath that. Works nicely. If I can make it slack enough. Yeah. There's a crank for these, which is inside on one of the shelves. And then as I say, all the halyards are new. This is the mainsail halyard, and it comes down here. This one is the for the boom, lift to the boom, and this one is your spare halyard. Other side is here. This one goes onto here. That's for your storm jib or spinnaker. And then you attach your spinnaker pole onto that if you got one. Look inside. No, it's a bit too dark. That's the hatch has got this little thing. You loosen that down, drop the hatch down, lift it up, tighten that. Okay, let's go inside. Get the torch out in here. I'll have to come back in the morning when there's a bit more light. Because it really isn't. Okay. There we go. Alright. Inside, starts with the radio. Hasn't been connected up, you can see the cables there. It's all brand new. It's Matrix AIS GX 2100 something. Got a handheld GPS in the corner there. Windows, yes. I didn't go around them from outside, I'll show you. This one is fine. I haven't noticed any problem with it. This one, I think that one's fine. These little windows, they're sound, there's no leaks in them, but they just need repainting. This one is a replacement. Previous owner, I don't know what happened, but they had to replace the window, and they got this one. It doesn't open, but it's watertight. This window does leak. I think it's this one, yeah. Yeah, this one leaks somewhere around here. This seal is pretty rotten away. This one doesn't leak. This one's good. Right. Controls down here, that's just a vent. Not sure why. That one does absolutely nothing. And then you've got your Morse control there. Ship's register is on there, but I don't think it's in current. Right, let's get back inside. Start at the back. I'll give you a quick look around, and I'll come back in the morning when there's a bit more light, so I can get it done better. But you see the headlining inside is all pretty good. I mean, it's held up by these struts, but they seem to work. No issues with that. Curtains are terrible. There's a roller curtain, roller blinds on that side. They work, but they're nothing special. And then sliding blinds along that side. They work better than the roller blinds, but could be doing with some new ones. The lockers have all been repainted inside. I had a couple of coats of it, so they should last a good few years before they need anything like that again. There's not much in them at the moment. Yeah, your handheld GPS up there, and that's the winch for the mast. The tender 2.4 metre Seago with a pump and oars, and there's 3 of these fenders in there, and it's all been repainted inside there, everything. There's the electronics control. I will run through those on the next video because there's not enough light. That's your steps. And then there you've got the cockpit cushions, and I think the cockpit cover might be in there as well, stashed at the back. Your Perspex washboards, the big one slides in first, and then the little one slides in and sits on top of this little ridge on the back edge there. So this is the window that leaks, only very slightly, but enough to create a couple of drips that come into that locker, but only when it's heavy rain. Lovely tongue and groove wall there by previous owner. Stainless steel sink, chopping board, plate storage. Yeah, stainless steel, this one works. I'll get the pump out. The pump is underneath, just down there. So if I stick my foot on that, yeah, that's working. I don't want to fill the boat with water, so I'll leave that. These 2 bits are for the plugs for the table legs when you don't have the table legs in there. See the table? It's pretty standard. Table drops down and makes the whole area into a double bed. Gas hob with the grill underneath. I've never used it. It looks alright. And a kettle, a decent kettle, always handy. You see the gas cable tube runs through there, and then there's I believe it's a copper pipe, possibly a copper pipe. There's the pipe that runs all the way through to the aft locker. Put that one back down. That is the battery charger, the mains powered battery charger, and the necessary cables on top. Some of the bits and pieces. There's your Reach 2013. This is your mains power sockets, which when you connect the other end of this, when you connect this to the power cable, there is 30 meters shore power cable there in this locker, or repainted this locker. Connect it to that, and then this goes straight round to the back of this, giving you 2 sockets of shore power. Stick an extension on there and you've got as many as you want. Just a quick look. These are your batteries. Battery isolations, battery 1, battery 2. This is your inverter, 500 watt DC to AC inverter, and then your battery controls from the alternator, which one's charging. Through here, we've got some air vent there, big LED light across there, an anchor spring, and some eggs. The window, this window does open, hanging rail. This is the water inlet, water tank inlet. This has all been repainted in here. Let's see, it's very reflective. There's your mushroom vents from the inside. Try to make it so you can actually see. This is the control for the lighting at this end. There is one LED light there, and above the heads. There's the cable for the other one, which is on the other side. Big one in the heads, and then in the forepeak you got another one there, which has a separate switch. In the heads you got a fold down sink, and drops in, and then you empty it out with the tube into the toilet, and it all goes down. That's the replaced window from the inside. It's nothing special. You have the mushroom vent from the inside. This has all been repainted in here. It's all very glossy. Right, heads, brand new Jabsco twist and lock. Got the box here. Hold on. I installed that, but I haven't used the heads. It hasn't been on the water long enough, and I haven't been out on it. Yeah, it's all nice and shiny. Loads of warps and ropes. I've got the radar reflector, the box. Then behind this bit, behind there is the water tank. I don't know how big it is. I've never filled it. It's all standard in there, nothing good or bad, it's just there. Right, the forepeak, all the cushions on the boat are original. They are, I believe they're from when it was originally purchased. They look like it. Behind this panel, I can't reach it now, but if you lift up that panel, it comes out bottom first. Then you can get into the chain locker. This is the interesting insulation that was installed by the previous owner, which keeps it warmer than the rest of the boat. It's not the most stylish. Horrible curtains. Again, window needs repainting. Alright, the box full of stuff. This one's got some charts in it, some navigation bits, a spare all-round white light. This is the chart plotter, I think. Cobra Marine. The old radio. Probably don't need that. But it's got the old instrument faces. An extension lead. Some documentation for the engine, like instruction and maintenance manuals and installation manuals. Some bits about the boat itself, which I collected for the sails, a bit about the sails and dimensions. Various instruction manuals. Various instruction manuals for the various electronics that were on here, or still are on here. Stuff from previous owners. There's the autopilot, auto helm along there. Oh. Standard auto helm. Bits and pieces. There's a GPS, another GPS, a third GPS, and the handheld VHF. See if it works. Yes, it works. Well, need to turn down the squelch. And just paperwork. The bits for the Genoa, about the Genoa, are on there, telling you that it's the best thing. Give me a second, I'll just try and get the cover off this. Okay. This is the Cobra Marine GPS chart plotter, which you can connect GPS to, and there's the two connections that I was on about up on below the spray head, one for the GPS and one for the other bits. I don't know, I've never used it. Yeah, standard stuff. This is the spare mainsail. There's one life jacket here. I have two more 275 Newton life jackets that I will be putting on board. That one underneath there in the blue bag, that is a storm jib. It's a bag of old fishing stuff that you can throw away if you want. There's the ensign and a tiller extension bar. Out the hatch. Still daylight, but we're losing it. View from the front. That's another Westerly Centaur, not in as good condition as this one. That one's suffering a bit. But anyway. Yeah, so that place. Underneath this cushion there is a chiller box, quite large and quite well insulated. Underneath those two covers, I'll get them out in the second video, and you can see the keel ribs, reinforcement ribs. There's a spare tank of fuel. It's empty at the moment, but for when you need it. Underneath that there's just some bits in there. There's the anchor ball, some gaskets, and there's a fan belt, and just a couple of bits, some sponge and a baler. Yeah. Right, I think I'll do the rest on the second video because it's getting too dark now. Okay, cheers.